a girl a-running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod at large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod. She's my hot rod.
Trying to get someone like this on the show for a long time, and I had him right in the palm of my hand. I didn't know it. I need an insurance man. There's so many questions that I get asked all the time about car insurance. Joe LaBella, State Farm agent here in Lansing on Ridge Road, the LaBella Agency, right, Joe?
Joe LaBella, State Farm.
Okay, and for what, a couple years?
It's been 30.
30 years. So if you've got questions, trust me, he's got answers. 928 Car Guys, if you really want to ask any questions. I've got some questions I need to ask him. First and foremost, people all the time ask me, how do I go about getting insurance for my kid the very first time? He just got his license. He doesn't have his own car. I'm going to let him drive mine for now, or one of mine, because there's always more than one car in the family anymore. I mean, you know that. What do I do? I mean, how do I judge what it's going to cost me?
Well, first of all, when your child has got a learner's permit, you don't need to let your agent know, at least with State Farm, that they've got the learner's permit. So they're automatically covered because they cannot drive by themselves. When you do get the license, you should notify your agent, whatever company you're with, immediately, so that they're aware of the fact that your child is going to be driving your cars on a regular basis. When you have a couple of cars and there's 3 drivers and 2 cars, then usually it's an occasional operator. 3 cars and 3 drivers, then your student or your child would be a principal operator. When they're a principal operator, they're rated on one car and mom and dad are on the other. But they can drive any car in the household, at least they can with State Farm. So when you do get your license, you need to notify your agent or company as soon as you can. And with that, they should direct you in some areas where you can do some cost-cutting savings.
You know, when Joe talks to you, he's going to tell you that this is how State Farm does it. That's because that's what he's familiar with. He's a State Farm agent. But you got to remember, State Farm is the leader in the industry. It's the oldest in the industry. These guys, most other companies pick up after you guys. They really try and emulate what State Farm does to stay in competition.
Well, we're kind of the big guy on the block.
Oh, yeah, you're the giant.
To go what we're doing. We've been number 1 on the car since, I think, 42. And in 1964 was on the homeowners. We insure more cars and more homes than anybody in the United
42,
States.
that's before you and I were born, for God's sake.
Long time before we were born.
I got to tell you, and so when he talks about State Farm does this, State Farm does that, it's because he knows they do. That's what he does. Now, this kid, I got him insured. I called my agent, I got him insured. No tickets. What does a ticket do to his insurance rate? Does that make it go up?
Well, not initially. If we're going to talk just about State Farm, with us, there's a couple of discounts that you get. One of them is called the Steered Clear discount. So it's a 15% discount off the auto insurance. When you're a 16-year-old kid, that's a lot of money.
Oh, it's big dough.
With that Steer Clear, if you're accident-free or ticket-free for the past 3 years, then you qualify for that discount. Another huge discount for students and children is the Good Student discount. With the Good Student discount, it can be up to 25% off of your auto insurance for the 6-month premium, and it's huge. It makes it much more affordable with those 2 discounts. So when you get those 2, it really will limit how much you have to pay every single month or every 6 months for your student.
Well, so if the kid has got his nose to the grindstone and is studying hard and getting good grades, and he doesn't have any problems driving, he doesn't drive like a goofball like we all did when we were kids. I didn't so much. I never had an accident or anything like that. But I got to tell you that the money can be saved. There was a lot of myths out there about it doesn't matter, your insurance is this much till you're this age, this much till you're that age. It didn't say anything about that kind of stuff.
Well, with State Farm, it does incrementally go down. Most accidents occur to kids under 25, and in that situation, the rates are high. And in order to help combat that price, you can get the Good Student and the Steer Clear. With those 2, if you keep those, you get to keep those all the way to age 25. So, you can do it for a long period of time, 9 years. You want to make sure that, you have the correct coverages Now, it used to be that it was cheaper for girls, and it's pretty much the same for guys and girls right now. So,
I remember that myth when we were young growing up. All girls always got better. They got cheaper insurance because they didn't fart around or whatever as much as we did.
in today's day and age, as you know, boys and girls, women and men, they all drive about the same amount, and girls have accidents just like guys.
Oh, I know. It's
And so,
it's a different world.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, usually I can tell. I have like a little call or talk with my 16-year-olds when they call me in. When the parents call in with the information, I ask them to bring their children in, and I can give them the talk. And I sit them down and I tell them, you're now a kid making adult decisions, and all it takes is one bad decision, and you could put somebody in a bad way for a long period of time, and you'll be sorry, but that one bad decision could last for years and years and years.
Let's face it. You're driving. You may as well be driving a gun. You can kill people with a car as easy as a gun,
Well,
or a knife, or anything else.
when they come down to my office and I have a talk with them, I look them right in the eye and I tell them, do you know where Schroeder Lauer is? And they'll say, well, yeah, that's a funeral parlor. I said, you don't want to be the guest of honor over there at any point in time, so you better drive carefully. And most of the time when the parents have taken the time and they've raised their children right, and they've given them some morals and values, you can tell in the first 6 months whether your child's going to be a good driver or a bad driver. And if they're crashing 2-3 times in the first couple of years, you better look out, because there's trouble coming down the road. And
Oh, absolutely.
it can be very expensive losing those discounts.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, if you pile up a bunch of tickets and accidents, getting insurance could be. What is the insurance pool? They still have the insurance pool where people that are bad drivers get thrown in.
Yeah, that's through the state, and you write an application and they assign it to the different companies. You no guarantee what company you're going to get, but if you do have a lot of accidents and you're with State Farm, what happens is, your parents are going to retain their insurance, but you're going to go bye-bye. They're not going to keep you much
They're
longer.
not going to
They're
back you
They're
up.
going to eliminate you from the policy. They're going to exclude you, and you wouldn't have, at no instance would you be able to drive.
Well, quite
that car.
frankly, that's actually how it should be. There's no reason to have that kid driving my car if he's going to keep crashing it.
No, and taking the keys away from a kid once in a while is probably a good idea if they've had some bad areas in that, and they haven't done it well behind the wheel. And it's exciting to get behind the wheel and jump on that accelerator.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
The kids got to be very, very careful, because there's so
Wheel
many
those
bad
tires.
things
And
can
when
happen.
things have changed, there's so much more traffic on the road today. There's so many possibilities for accidents and so forth. And of course, the driving tickets, running stop signs, and no turn signals and stuff like that. That's all got to add up on your insurance, of course.
Well, you know what? Sometimes they run an MVR on you to find out if you had any speeding tickets. It's mostly on the younger drivers, and they do it every year at State Farm. If you do have the steer clear discount, you could disqualify yourself every single year. And so, yeah, it could have anything that you do negatively in the insurance industry now could have an adverse effect on your insurance rates. And you want to, you work a long time to have a good insurance rate with a good, solid company. You don't want your children to come in and change that in a short period of time. So just got to keep an eye out for the kids and make sure that you keep an eye on
Like
them.
you said, it only takes one bad decision to change all that.
Yep, just one.
And it goes away, and then everything is bad. That's same way. And we got to talk. We're going to come back here in a minute and talk more about this. How about a DUI? I get a DUI and I'm insured with State Farm. They're going to hear about it. They get the report. Am I gone?
Yep, you're going to get a suspension.
Rightfully so.
And if you do go that route, then they're not going to keep you insured for very long. Usually to the next renewal, if they find out.
And that's how you end up in a pool.
Yep, that's how you get a signed risk pool, and then you could be with any company. There are some companies that's their niche product where they sell to people who have DUIs, and you can go to other companies and find that. And I'm exclusively State Farm, so I don't sell any other company. And we have just a great rapport.
Joe, I got to tell you, I find it amusing that there's a company that would like to write drivers that have DUIs.
Well, there are some
That's
companies,
crazy.
they will do that.
I'll tell you right now, much like my business in the car repair, your insurance is only as good as your agent. Your agent is the one that sets you up, makes sure you're completely covered, takes care of any problems you have. He can, and like Joe says, he talks to your kid when he gets his first driver's license. That's got to be scary.
Well, you know, it
Go
is
see
for them.
Go see Mr. LaBella. He's going to yell at me.
And, you know, and I asked the parents, you know, how much do you want me to talk to your child? And there's a lot of times that they say, you know, let it fly.
Yeah.
And other times they say, you know, kind of go easy on him. He's a good kid.
I got my first insurance. My dad took me over to Ray Dockweiler at Schultz and made me sit down and let him give me the speech. And it was, hey, it's the way to fly. The kids, a lot of kids don't understand what's going to go on here. And they have to be educated. Now, that brings me to my next question. Junior's going off to college, all right?
Uh-huh.
Harry goes down 394, going somewhere. And he's 300 miles away from home, and he has a car wreck, a fender bender, whatever. Nobody's hurt. What am I going to tell him to do? Or what is he supposed to do? What should he be schooled to do?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure nobody's hurt because that's the most important thing. And a lot of times when there's an impact, you know, they don't feel it for the first 24 hours. So it's very important that you keep an eye on out for something like that. You want to call the police. That would be your first call to make sure that you document what happened. And then there's the evidence and everything that happened at the scene of the accident will be documented. So then the other person or either one of you can't change your story. And, you know, that happens on occasion, too. So you may think that it's a small little dent in the car or that's not very expensive to repair and you just let it go. Then you find out, you know, repairs are so expensive at this point in time.
All right, what if the guy that hits me doesn't have insurance? Now what do I do?
Okay, well, same thing. You want to, you know, with the advent of the telephones, you probably want to take a picture of their license plate. You immediately call the police because then they'll be ticketed for that.
Absolutely. They can go to jail for that, can't they? No proof of insurance?
Depends. No, I don't think they'll go to jail, but if there's something else that's out there, they may, but I don't think they throw you in jail for not having a car insurance.
Now, is State Farm going to take care of me if the guy hits me is not insured? Does he?
Yeah, you know what? It's unfortunate, and it happens quite often. If you get someone to hit you without insurance, then you're subject to your deductible, which is the amount you pay before the company pays. So if you have a $500 deductible, you're going to pay $500 first. They're going to repair your car, and then they have what they call subrogation. And subrogation is where they go back against that person to try to get your money back. Could take 6 weeks, could take 6 months, could take 6 years.
I was going to say, it could take forever.
Yeah, and it's very important that, you know, that you do have the proper coverages for you. And unfortunately, people pay more in premiums because there are a lot of people driving without insurance.
Is that called no fault? Is that what they call it?
No, no fault is something different. They have that in Michigan, and that's where you each go to your own insurance company and have it repaired and pay your own deductible. So
oh, really?
That's not in Illinois or Indiana, so no fault is not.
I find that interesting. I've never heard of that now.
Yep.
In Michigan, if you have a wreck and you just go to your insurance guy and nobody cares whose fault it was.
That's why they call it no fault. Now, I don't know all the Michigan laws and rules,
Yeah.
but that's what I've been told.
Wow. That's different. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Not at all. Well, so Junior's got to be schooled a little bit in what to do in case of an accident. Call the police, exchange insurance company cards.
Yeah, when you do the police come, you have to provide your insurance card, and then they document that right on the police report. And then, you know, if you're far away, State Farm is coast to coast, so we have an 800 number that you can call for claims, and when you put your claim through, they'll instruct you on what to do. So no matter where you're at, you can do that. Now, in our office at State Farm, most offices have what they call a customer response center. It's a 24-hour-a-day service, so when we close, you can put a claim through our office after hours. Very, very good service, and they can help you out. But that's the process, you know. And then, you know, calling the agent's important so they can help guide you through the whole situation. If you need help, if the car needs to be moved, there's a whole lot of things that come into it once there's an accident. If it's not drivable, never drive a car that's not drivable because
it's trouble.
Yeah, you know, it's just you could get even hurt, even worse.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Let me nitpick a minute.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I live in Lansing.
right.
I'm insured with the Joe LaBella agency. I go to school in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I have an accident in Michigan. Is it a no-fault deal?
Wherever you go, the state law is what's
prevalent.
Is prevalent, right? That's what the prevailing thing.
So that would be, I have to turn that into my car insurance,
You bet.
whether I'm at fault or not.
That's what I've had in the past, and I believe that's the way.
Wow.
It is right now.
Wow, now that could be quite unfair in some instances.
Yeah, I believe that your policy changes to whatever state you're in. The laws in your policy will then revert to that state law.
Yeah, I find that very unfair in some instances.
Well, it can be, but you know, life ain't fair.
No, I know. I don't believe in no fault anyway. I just don't. I think if somebody causes a wreck, they should have to pay.
From a standpoint, it takes a lot of litigation out of it, and there's a lot of at-fault stuff that's taken out. So there's no argument.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now Junior's going to come back from college. He's going to get a job, and he's going to go out there, and he's going to need insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his own apartment, got a new car, got a good job. Is he going to save money coming to Joe and getting a what they call? You guys bundle? Do you like put stuff together?
Yeah, the younger guys that get out of college, they're very cost conscious, and a lot of times we'll see where they'll go and do the overnight service, so they can do the StateFarm.com online and do a quote or even an application, and they go just pretty much with a lot of times, but some are very conscientious too and do the right thing, but they do low limits of liability, high deductibles, no towing, no car rental. You got to be so careful on stuff like that, because if you do it that way, if you have a $25,000 property damage limitation on your policy, which is the state minimum, crash into a new car, there's not many cars that are 25,000.
Oh, absolutely not.
You'll be paying that money for a long time.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why you need an agent. You need to sit down. I'll be absolutely honest with you. There was a long time I couldn't spell insurance. I didn't understand it. I didn't know how it worked. I just know that certain kinds I had to have. Some health insurance, some car insurance, business insurance, of course, homeowners insurance. Mm-hmm. And you got to have somebody that's trained.
Well, I got to tell you, I feel real bad when people don't have the proper coverage. And sometimes we'll walk away from business because people, decide that the price is more important. Very seldom is State Farm the cheapest. And I really honestly feel this way that, the agents all take a real interest in their customers. I know almost everybody that comes in my office. I mean, I'm getting older, so I don't remember all the names, but sometimes I forget. But for the most part, I've got some people that have insured with me, and I met with a guy today with me 30 years, and those customers are far and few in between. But, a lot of times by changing from company to company, you might save a couple dollars here and there, but the longevity discounts that kick with State Farm, 3-year accident free, 6-year accident free, 10-year accident free, those will go away if you leave the company.
Well, that and it's saving you a ton of dough. It's saving you a big piece of money.
And when I have people have accidents or they have a loss, nobody ever complains about the price at that point in time.
No, yeah.
They all want the top of the line coverage, and we try to give that to everybody. I have some really, really good people that work for me too. I like Lisa and Kim.
Oh, I've met a few, yes, and they're very nice. Yes,
Yolanda and Jean, they're all, and my Saturday crew is great too. So I hope that when people call our office, they get that really good neighbor service.
It still takes an insurance expert to set you straight, to get your insurance right, to get your coverage right. Otherwise, you could be asking for trouble. All right, what if I'm now, because I'm getting there. I'm getting there. What if I'm really old? Does the insurance start to go back up? It goes up when you get older at 25. It goes down. Now is it going to go back up?
Well, because
statistics got to show.
I'm not privy to all that information from underwriting, but I do know that the prices do decrease as you get older, and then from age 25 to 50, there's a rate, and then when you turn 50, supposedly you become a better driver, and they give you a discount for being over 50, and then from 50 to 75 you get that discount, and then after that age, then it does tend to go up a little bit.
And your driving record comes into play.
Absolutely, but State Farm, you could have a couple of accidents in a year, because let's face it, those things just happen to people. Good people,
yep.
Bad things happen to good people.
Yes.
So you could have a couple of accidents. State Farm had a policy where it was a guaranteed renewable policy, which a lot of our older policyholders have that. They've been with us for a long period of time. So no matter what happens, as long as you have a driver's license and you renew the premium, you're guaranteed renewable. So my oldest client is State Farm insured from August of 1952. And she was written by an agent that's probably long gone. Her dad was the mayor of Lansing at one time, actually. Her name is Rhoda, and still has the policy with us. She's 104 and still has her auto policy.
Oh, my goodness.
So quite a story. She bought it from the local agent in Lansing in 1952.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
1952. That's the year after I was born. Oh, my God. She's been with you guys 65 years.
Yep. Long time insured.
Well, And of course, I'm sure there's a million local stories you could tell us, but you've been around Lansing for however. But State Farm, like you said, is across the country, and the agents are all there. And if you need an agent, you can get one.
Well, there's 17,000 of them across the country,
Oh,
and
The
hopefully,
big club you belong to.
you're going to get different service in different offices. But to be quite honest with you, if you give the same information to both two different agents, the quote should be exactly the same. There's no differentiation.
So this
from
corporate
office to
policy
office.
is set.
As long as you input the same information, there will be no difference in the premium.
Now, we're not gonna bad rap any insurance companies here of any kind, but all that isn't the same at every company.
Yeah, I can't speak for.
I
other
know you
companies.
can't, but I've seen this. I've seen body shops. There's certain body shops I know that won't do work for a certain insurance company because
Right.
they don't get paid the going rate.
Right, and I'm sure there's price manipulation. I don't, I'm not aware of it with State Farm. We pay for every dollar we owe. We pay.
Yeah,
And
your job is to take care of your client,
absolutely,
and that's what you do.
We go to the wall for our people. We try to help as much as we can because when you have that accident and someone calls you, it's pretty traumatic on the other end. They're nervous.
Oh, yeah.
They're scared. They don't know what to do. If it's a really bad accident, then they really need help. And so we do what we can, and we help as many people as we can.
Well, that's the whole idea. Now, what did we go over? We went over the kid going to college. First insurance policy. That's got to be. That's got to be a trauma, and then of course he gets to talk to Joe. The kid gets to talk to Joe.
When kids graduate from college, a lot of times they stay with mom and dad for a few years, and I get this question all the time. Well, should they get their own insurance? Should I take my? Well, you can do that, but then they'll lose the multiple car discount and the multiple line discount.
Yeah, may as well
living
just
at
keep it
home.
with them.
Well, and if that's the case and they're a good driver, and they're in the household, it doesn't make any sense to do that. But we we want those kids to stay with us. And when I have a kid that graduates and he buys a new car, I like to bring him into the office and do the application with him and tell him, hey, I don't want mom and dad calling me. You call me. This is your policy.
Oh, I hear you.
And we'll deal that way. And so that seems to work.
Yeah, I hear you.